couple of years saying that Puerto Rico got too much money. I mean, just last year you said Puerto Rico is one of the most corrupt places on earth.
Well,
talked about how Congress has spent too much money. But you said never again. You said Congress gave too much money to Puerto Rico. Why now are
Because
you...
we're building it up as a great medical, pharmaceutical, manufacturing area.
Joining me now on the phone is the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, Carmen Yulín Cruz. And Mayor Cruz, what do you think? Donald Trump is suddenly deciding that Puerto Rico is worthy of getting aid 2 years later. After all that he said about Puerto Rico, after all that he said, including about yourself, and all he's done, throwing the paper towels, etc., what do you make of him saying he's the best thing that ever happened to Puerto Rico?
Well, I think it's shameful, despicable, and frankly lacking any connection to reality or any sense of justice. The president is clearly trying to buy the votes of the Puerto Rican people in the United States and certain swing states where he knows he's not doing very well, because right in our image and in our soul is that president throwing paper towels at us, calling us corrupt and dirty, and telling that he wants to sell the Puerto Rican people. You know, and frankly, this may come as a surprise to the president, but we are not for sale. And 3 years after Hurricane Maria on Sunday, I'm sitting here in front of 3,000 Puerto Rican flags, one representing each one of the people that died because of the botched efforts of Donald Trump, because he thought he's so vain. He thought that this was about him. And because frankly, he used Puerto Rico as a rehearsal of the disaster that we have seen his administration has become in the last 4 years.
You know, Donald Trump at one point apparently, ruminated on selling Puerto Rico. He thought he might be able to sell it. Now that he needs Florida, he needs to win Florida. This is obviously a gambit for that. Do you think that with all that's on the table and all that he's done, including more broadly to the Latino community, I mean, we have this new story about, surgeries that women didn't want being given to them to take out their uteruses. Just so much has been done. Do you think that voters, Puerto Rican voters, can be moved by this last-minute gift of aid?
No, and I'll tell you why. There was a recent poll last week where Puerto Ricans in Florida, which is the state with the largest number of Puerto Ricans right now, said that they prefer Joe Biden over Donald Trump. But I am sure that a man that is used to buying his way around everything like Donald Trump is, thinks that he can buy the conscience of the people of Puerto Rico. We will never forget that because of him, 3,000 Puerto Ricans are dead. We will never forget that because of him, more than 200,000 Americans are dead. We will never forget children in cages and ripped from their mother's arms. These are things that are very close to the Puerto Rican people, to the Latino people, because we are very mindful of how our communities have been torn apart and very mindful of how despicable the president has been, calling immigrants rapists and murderers. The world needs a man with a soul in the White House, and that certainly is not Donald Trump. And in my case, I do believe it is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.